All right. So, um, I was watching First Things First. I don't necessarily watch those programs, to be honest with you. Um, but only if they're talking about something interesting. And they was viewing. They was talking about the big three in Brooklyn. If they don't win the championship, is it a bust or a failure? Now, in my opinion, look, they all whether they win the championship or not, they all coming back here next year. They all gonna they all gonna Kyrie, KD, James Harden, they all gonna try to, you know, be better next year. I don't think they're gonna win it this year, but next year there should clearly be very heavy favorites because of how many games they missed. They only missed, or actually not missed, but they only played 8 games together. You know what I'm saying? Um, I mean, the deciding factor is that, playing that many games together, it's heartbreaking, because you don't necessarily get in full flux of the defense or offense, even though they don't have defense, but they think that they're too good to play with one another. They think that, oh, we don't need chemistry. Man, we don't need chemistry. We've been playing against each other since we entered the league. You know what I'm saying? So we don't need chemistry. Like Brooklyn Nets feel like they just too good, you know? And, that will probably haunt them in the playoffs because cocky teams like them, they never get far. They never get far. I don't care how good you are offensively. Defense is all about in the crucial moments. If you don't get that one stop that you need, you're not gonna win that game. Look at the Lakers and Warriors. If AD doesn't guard or if AD doesn't do his job and put a hat on Stephen Curry, that game would have probably gone to overtime if Curry had a chance to just put it up there. You know what I'm saying? So defense carries with you all the time. But in my opinion, I don't think it's a bust because I believe they're all coming back there next year unless KD decides, you know what, I don't want to do this no more. It was just a one-time thing with Brooklyn Nets. You know how players are. They never keep their promises. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that he's going to come back next year, but I don't think he wants to go through that grueling process again. You know what I'm saying? Like they already played 8 games together. You know what I'm saying? Within those 8 games in his head, he thinks that KD in his head, he thinks that, that's enough to gel together. You know what I'm saying? He said that, oh, I'm not worried about it, or I don't pay attention. Bull crap. That's all bull crap. He knows he needs chemistry with James Harden and and Kyrie because they never played together. I mean, they played together, but that much because they all been injured. And it kind of reminds me of the Dallas team where they had Dirk and they had Sean Marion. You know what I'm saying? And they had Finley, and most of his guys was out. And they lost to the Lakers in 5, I believe. The Mavericks took the Lakers to 5, but Dirk wound up losing that series. And this is when Kobe was on that team. But to say that it doesn't matter, like it does matter, because who to say that who to say that Kevin Durant doesn't come back? He doesn't have to come back. But let's say hypothetically he doesn't come back. Then what? Like I said, Kevin Durant didn't come to Brooklyn to win a championship. He came to Brooklyn to be Kevin Durant, if that makes sense. Like, I believe that Kevin Durant made the move for publicity reasons. He made this move to further his brand, not to exceed a championship. Like, you think that he cares if he delivers a championship in Brooklyn? No. Like, if he was on the Knicks and he would have done that, they would have had his head. Okay? But since he's in Brooklyn, Brooklyn has no championship aspirations whatsoever. They have no championships whatsoever to speak of. At least we have two. Hopefully, in the near future, we can get a championship, or we can win not get, but hopefully in the near future, we can win a championship. You know, I mean, it's just been too much baggage with the Nets. Just too much. You know, their season has just been a roller coaster. Like, if they would have played 7 more games together, then okay. People wouldn't make a big deal out of it. But since they've played only 7, like the Miami Heat team with Wade, Bosh, and James, they actually played more games than they did. You know, like I said, you got Kyrie who don't play defense. You got James Harden who folds under pressure in the playoffs, and you got KD who doesn't necessarily play defense. He plays defense, but when he wants to. So you got the Bucks, and the Bucks had his way. I don't know what the Bucks is, but every time you saw that matchup, right? Like, the Bucks just match up so well against Brooklyn, and if the Boston Celtics don't get it done, if the Knicks somehow don't, obviously the Knicks are not going to get a chance to obviously face Brooklyn, because when they beat the Hawks, they're going to face Philly. And the Nets could get 2 games. The Knicks can get 2 games. I can see my Knicks winning 2 games out of that series. I'm not saying that they're gonna win it, but at least they can get at least 2 or 1 games out of Philly. You know what I'm saying? Because Joel Embiid is gonna be in and out the lineup, and we have struggled even without Embiid in the lineup. So, because I remember when we did face them, Embiid wasn't playing, and we still got cooked. So, it's kind of scary, but I think we can win 2 games. We're gonna lose that series, but I think we're gonna win 2 games. The Sixers are gonna sweep the Warrior. I mean, not the Warriors, the Wizards. The Wizards is not gonna get one single game, because at the start, the Sixers are gonna get their 2 home games, right? So we all know how that works. But again, the Brooklyn Nets, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I've been saying this bull crap for the last few months. People don't want to believe me. Everybody's aboard the choo choo train on the Nets. But again, like, they can get away with that stuff in the regular season. But when it comes to the playoffs, man, it's a different breed, and they have known that too well. They know that offensively, yes, you can outshoot everybody, but when it comes down to crunch time, when you need that extra block, or when you need that block and you can't get it, it's going to come back and haunt you. It's going to come back and bite you in the butt, because you can't stop nobody. And the Nets have the weakest defensive efficiency in the NBA. They're probably like 29th on defense, you know? So, like I said, if it's not the Nets, then it has to be either Philly or the Bucks to stop them, you know? But I believe the Celtics is gonna take this to 6. I believe. I don't think it's gonna be a sweep that like everybody thinks it is. Okay, yeah, The Celtics is missing Jaylen Brown, but they still got Kemba Walker and Tatum, and they still got Tristan Thompson who could give you a few blocks and a few buckets. So they'll be fine. They'll be fine. So like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other.